Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second shelf and to the Women's Prize for Fiction shortlist. Yeah! Finally, this morning, it's the 27th of April, and this morning, 9 o'clock British time, the shortlist was announced, and as promised, I filmed my reaction video just a little bit after that. Well, half a day after that. It's now midday here. But anyway, the shortlist in alphabetical order. I wrote that down in alphabetical order so that I'm not going to give anybody, So first, Lisa Allen Agostini's The Bread, the Devil, Knead, which is an author from Trinidad about a woman who is in her 40s, Alethea, and she seems very independent, running a business, being a manager, but at the same time she is in an abusive relationship. And the book is told from her point of view in the Trinidadian Creole. And I really liked it. Second, The Sentence by Louise Erdrich, American author. Louise Erdrich, if you follow my channel, she was my author spotlight a year ago and the year before that. So together with Terry from Miss Terry Reads, I think. She's not on YouTube anymore, unfortunately, but maybe she'll come back at some time. But we read all of Louise Erdrich's novels in chronological order. And I really love her. The Sentence is set in a bookstore, which has some resemblance to Louise Erdrich's bookstore because it's also run or owned by a woman called Louise. I'm going to get rid of the paper here. But anyway, and there is this woman who just has finished her sentence in jail for a crime you will encounter right in the first couple of pages. And then she works for this bookstore, and one of the regular customers dies and is haunting the bookstore. It's set in the present day, so there is also COVID discussion. The George Floyd murder plays a role. The relationship that Rookie has with a man who also has a grown daughter. So I liked it, but I didn't love it, and I didn't think it was Louise Erdrich's best work for sure. And the same, because alphabetical order. Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason. Meg Mason is a New Zealand author, and it was my first book by her, and it is also about a woman in her 40s in a relationship, and something is just not going right, and we learn very quickly that our main character has serious mental health issues. I did not think this was a very good book because the focus was too much on the bliss of a diagnosis, and I didn't like that at all. I definitely think the topic is important, and that part where a description of what this character feels about her mental health and how she experiences it, that was all rather well done, albeit not groundbreaking or anything, but well done. A good solid 7, something like that. Good solid 7.5. Which movie is that? Beautiful Girls. Yeah. Anyway, but the whole diagnosis thing, I thought, no. I really felt that it was completely off. And I didn't like it. Next one, The Book of Form and Emptiness by Ruth Oseki, Canadian-American Japanese author, one of my contemporary, if you look at contemporary authors, certainly one of my favorite authors, but like with the Louise Erdrich, I felt this book of Form and Emptiness, was not her strongest work. As a friend of mine, whom I will keep anonymous, said the book was bloated. She liked it better than I did, nevertheless, but bloated, yes, too much into it. There was a teenage boy and his mother. They lost the father to a freak accident not that long ago, and so the book is about both characters, the Ben, the 14-year-old, and the mother, how they deal with grief. There are also mental health issues involved, and there are talking books. So the books and other objects in Ben's life, they start talking to him. And there was also a kind of Japanese Buddhist Marie Kondo theme, and it was just too much. It didn't have focus. I didn't like the way that the grief of the two characters was kind of focusing on the mental health issue, but that is a personal thing. I would have rather liked if the characters had reacted differently, and I'm not, yeah, you know what is coming, I'm not a big fan mostly of teenage narrators, child narrators, and in this particular book it didn't work for me either. I felt the character was kind of, the commentary felt wise beyond the years. It didn't feel that the character was really emotionally involved. It was not a bad book, like The Sentence, but was certainly not, in my view, Oseki's best book. Then we have Elif Shafak's The Island of Missing Trees, about at the core, the story of a family torn apart by circumstances. We have a Greek Cypriot, and we have a Turkish Cypriot, Daphne and Kostas and Daphne, and their daughter Ada. They have to flee to London because of the war that's tearing Cyprus apart, and the Greek Turkish parts, they can't, have fall in love. It's like a Romeo and Juliet story. I love the voice of Kostas, the father. The mother is absent from the beginning, and we learn really quickly that she has died. Part of the book is also about the grief, certainly from Ada, once we learn how the mother died. But one of the main narrators in the book is a fig tree. And that didn't work for me at all. I thought that was silly. It was gimmicky, didn't like it. So no. I love Elif Shafak as a commentator, as a political and feminist commentator, but her books mostly don't work for me, and this didn't work for me either. And finally, did I say Turkish-British author Elif Shafak? She identifies as Turkish, but I looked up what it says on the website, and it says Turkish-British author. And finally, Maggie Shipstead, The Great Circle, also an American author, Maggie Shipstead. The Great Circle is a big commercial success, was also shortlisted for the Booker Prize last year. It has a dual timeline with Marianne in the early 20th century wanting to be an aviator, and the difficulties she encounters, mainly because she is a woman, of course. And in contemporary times, we have a Hollywood actress, Hadley, who was very successful, very rich, but there's scandal, and then she is sort of on the downward spiral career-wise, but then she's offered to play the part of Marianne in a new movie. If you like historical fiction, a beach read, bit fluff, doesn't really make you think a lot, is nicely done, easily consumable, then you might like this book. I was totally not interested in the Hollywood thing, so if you feel that is a setting that you find interesting, that makes a difference. I thought it bored me to tears, this whole Hollywood, Johnny Depp, Amber Heard kind of thing. It's just not interesting. For me, it's not interesting. And I felt the part with the aviator, which I was really looking forward to, because I think that's a really interesting theme. But there was too much background that didn't really play a role, and that, didn't inform Marianne's story in any way, and the ending I felt was extremely predictable, and I didn't like it. It was too cheesy for me. But again, for me. So those are my views on those 6 books. If you look at my own ranking, you can see that only 2 books of my first 6 made it. And as I said in my last video, I will leave all my review videos in the description box. And I said when I ranked the books that I am really lucky if 3 of my 6 make it, and actually 2 made it. So I have a completely different taste with the long list than the judges finally did for the shortlist. I'm especially sorry that Creatures of Passage didn't make it, and Salt Lick. Yeah, mainly all of them, but the 3 I really loved that didn't make it were Creatures of Passage, Salt Lick, and One Sky Day. So what do I think of the shortlist more as a whole? My favorite book certainly is the Bread the Devil Knead. I think it's the most interesting, the least mainstream, and I felt that I loved the long list. If you remember my reaction, I thought it was daring from a point of view of what kind of books, debuts, but also the types of books that they included, even almost a YA, with Careless. And in the end, for the shortlist, they took the safe road. That's my interpretation. They went for the big names: Elif Shafak, Ruth Oseki, Louisa Edric. Nothing can go wrong if you pick those 3 authors. They are well loved. They are good authors. And the commercially successful one that also went on the Booker shortlist with Maggie Shepstead's Great Circle, the Sorrow and Bliss, something I would say a very female theme, mental health in a relationship especially. And there was one that was not that mainstream in my opinion, and that is The Bread the Devil Knead by the Trinidadian author. So I really hope that book will win, but chances are it won't. There is what I like about the shortlist is that they were at least daring when it came to author background. There is only one British author, and it's a Turkish author who has a British passport or who lives in Britain, Elif Shafak. And none of the other British authors made the shortlist, and that is daring because it is originally a British prize, and I'm sure that there will be complaints about that no British author made it on the shortlist. So even though I don't like the book, Meg Mason's book, but it's fantastic to have somebody from New Zealand on the shortlist, because the English language is so much more than just Great Britain and Ireland and Canada and the US, and the Trinidadian author, of course. So I definitely like that aspect. But for me, the shortlist is not very exciting. It's the safe road, the quite middling, as one of the commentators on Goodreads said. Yeah, and safe. So Salt Lick wouldn't have been safe. Creatures of Passage wouldn't have been safe. Poppy Show or One Sky Day, those books are not safe bets. These are safe bets. You can't go wrong if you pick those. So it's not a bad shortlist. Like I said, I love Ruth Oseki. I love Louisa Edric. Elif Shafak is a beloved author. She doesn't work for me, but that doesn't mean that she isn't a good author and a beloved author. So, and Maggie Shipstead, her book was a huge success. So it's safe. It's not bad, but it's safe. And that is a bit like, doesn't make me as excited as I was when the long list was announced. The best book, I leave my ranking, as I said, down below. You will see that the Bread the Devil Knead came in second for me on my own ranking of the 16. So I really, as I said, hope it will win. I don't think it will. My bet is that the winner is either Elif Shafak, if they go for the beloved author, but with a little edge, because it's about war and it's set in Cyprus partly, or if they are going for the even more safe choice, the commercial success, then it's going to be Great Circle. We'll see. The announcement is in June sometime, I think on the 17th. Not 100% sure, 15th, June the 15th, so we'll see about that. But I loved reading the long list, even though I said in another video that I might not do that again because it was quite a commitment to read 16 books. I only had read one, I think, and the second I had started when the long list was announced on the 8th. So I basically had to read 15 books between March 8th and April the 27th, and that I'm not sure whether I'm going to do it another time. But it was great fun. So let me know what you think of the shortlist, whether you have read any or planning on reading any of the shortlist. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this journey with me for the journey through the Women's Prize for Fiction. Looking forward to your comments as always, and I'll see you all soon in the next one.